Welcome to episode 7 of our podcast series where we explore customer experience with industry experts. Today we are excited to have Saurabh Mittal with us. He's an experienced pro in operations management and automation. Saurabh has also helped companies simplify important processes like audit, calibration and recognition programs, driving better efficiency and partner relationships. His work has brought innovation in how companies handle customer interactions. We are eager to learn more about his unique approach and how automation is shaping the customer experience. Let's start. Good morning, Saurabh.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm doing fine, Nidhi. How are you?
I'm also doing good. Welcome to our podcast, Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Nidhi, for inviting me for this podcast. I'm really looking forward to
Uh, I think we should thank you, Saurabh, for taking out time for our podcast today.
it. My pleasure.
Let's dive into today's topic, Saurabh.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so today you're going to explore more on this operations management through automation and digitization.
Yes, Nidhi.
Chalo, let's start. Let's start by explaining that what do you mean by this automation, digitization in context of calibration, auditing, and R&M process.
Right. So, Nidhi, this automation, digitization, they sound very similar words, but
Mm-hmm.
they altogether serve a different purpose, especially when it comes to calibration, auditing, repeatability, reproducibility. But what do you really mean by this? Let me start with the automation first. So think of doing a repetitive work, manual tasks, and then there is a technology who takes care of all this stuff, right?
Yeah, and automate everything. Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk about in calibration. For
Mm.
example, automation can standardize how performances is measured across different teams, reducing human error and bringing consistency. So that's the role of automation, that everything is standardized, right? This is huge when you want to ensure that everyone is evaluated fairly and using the same criteria. That's on automation. Now, when it comes to digitization, it's altogether different. So there are paper-based work. There is a manual process involved in you know
Mm. Mm.
or quality, right? So in auditing these, this would mean moving from physical checklists and spreadsheets to a centralized digital system where audits are tracked, they are stored, they are more friendlier when you want to access them, and it is just a few clicks of button. So this
Mm.
is what the purpose digitization solves, right? And both these automations and digitizations plays a very powerful role in ensuring that the performances are streamlined, they are smoother, they are faster, and
Mm.
overall the output of it, is bringing more accuracy, and obviously it increases the employee engagement. So this is on automation and digitization.
Super. So why are calibration and auditing the auditor or say R&R so critical to effective operations management, Saurabh?
Right. This is a very good question, Nidhi. Uh, Calibration, auditing the auditor, then repeatability and reproducibility. They are very necessary and a powerful tool when it comes to an effective operations manager. Let me just break it down process by process and explain you what is calibration or ATS and repeatability. Now, let's start with the calibration. So, calibration is an exercise which talks about the alignment. Right?
Hmm.
Now, imagine you have a multiple teams. Each have their own managers, and they are responsible for evaluating performances. Now,
Hmm.
without calibration, there is no alignment. There is a risk that different managers may apply different standards, different policies, or may have different understanding, which could result to inconsistent results. Okay, now this calibration is the only tool which brings the alignment within the team. right? Calibration ensures that everyone is on the same page.
Hmm.
The criteria and understanding of a subject is same across all teams. Now, this creates a transparency, fairness, and the output is also calibrated. So, this is what the calibration is. Now, when
Saurabh,
we move to
sorry to interrupt in between. Can one use case or a small example help us to understand this better?
yes, sure. So, for example, let's take an example of soft skills.
Hmm.
Assume there are five QAs who are performing an audit now, and there is a parameter which is opening right now. They, without calibration, one QA may rate a opening as a very energetic, very enthusiastic, and full of energy,
Right.
and the skill
Comparison other was
but the
hmm.
same case for the other QA may be a totally a reverse scenario. Now,
Hmm.
here in this small example, there is a difference of opinion, right? So the calibration exercise will help the manager to understand that why there is a difference in opinion, right? So this is what the calibration does. They
Uh,
bring the QAs on the same page, on the same platform, because
hmm.
at the end of the day, whole this auditing exercise, it is impacting the operations people, the people who are dealing with the customer. Now, unless and until they are not given the correct feedback, they will not exercise the same thing with their customers, and at the end of the day, your customer is going to get impacted, and hence this becomes very very important for the QAs to have a calibrated scale among themselves when they are doing the audit. This is on
Interesting.
the calibration bit where
Hmm.
everybody is trying to get onto the same page. Now we have another tool which is audit the
Audit the
auditor.
auditor.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this and how it is different, right? Now, calibration is bringing everybody on the same page, but who is checking the QAs? Whether they are doing the right audit, is there any biasness involved, or
Hmm.
they have a different understanding? For this purpose, we have an audit the auditor where the QA's manager, right,
Hmm.
they perform the audit on the audit already conducted, and this they will try to find out the deviations. Is there any deviation between the audit conducted by the ATA guy and the original audit? This whole exercise again is to ensure that the transparency, smoothness, and the fairness to the teams whom the
Hmm.
feedback is going is
Hmm.
is maintained, right? So this is on the ATA bit. Then we have a reproducibility and
Yeah. Arena.
reproducibility. This
Hmm.
particular exercise is to ensure now under the calibration and this ATA, there are people who are checking you, who are gauging you. But this repeatability, reproducibility ensures that you are checking yourself. Imagine, let's take a use case. For example, I have done an audit today and
Hmm.
I have given a score of 80% in that evaluation. Now, this
Hmm.
checks that if I do the audit, let's say after 5 days or after 7 days, is my score still the 80%, or is it 70%, or it has gone to 90%? Now, whenever this happens, there is a question mark to self. That okay, why earlier I was giving, मैंने पहले तो 70% दिया था, अब मैं इसको 90% दे रहा हूँ. So
Hmm.
here you have an opportunity to correct yourself. So
Ah,
by all these three exercises, calibration, ATA, and then your repeatability and reproducibility,
okay.
you are ensuring that the whole function, which is responsible for the performance of larger function, is working the way it should. So that's why these are, very, very important tools
Clear.
when it comes to.
Clear. Clear. And so, sort of, how does this automation transform the calibration process within operation management? And what are its immediate benefits?
Right, right. So Automation, as I told you, it is a game changer when it comes to calibration process in the operations management.
Mm,
Traditionally, calibration involves a lot of manual effort, managers sitting down, probably in a conventional way in a room, listening
mhm,
to a call, and then everybody is rating down the call, right? So this, uh, but you can imagine this takes a lot of time, and there is always a risk of human error or biasness creeping in. With
mm.
automation, a lot of those challenges disappear automatically. For
Okay.
one automated system, uh, can analyze data in real time, pulling information from various sources like performance matrices, feedbacks, and project outcomes. These systems can apply standardized and criteria across the board. So, everyone is being measured against in the same benchmark. This removes the subjectivity that can
Mm,
come with manual processes and ensures consistency. Right. So that is on the automation wheel. Now let's talk about that. What are the immediate benefits to it? Right?
yeah.
First and foremost, is speed.
Okay.
Automation drastically cuts down the time it takes to calibrate what might take a team of managers, days or even weeks
Mm,
for bringing one calibration in the system. Automation, it can happen very, very quickly. Because, example, right? For example, there are 10 people in your team. Not
mm,
everybody is in the same shift, right? So there is a lot of coordination effort required. You probably need to call him early, or you need to make people stay back. But when there is an automation, there is a digital imprint which is happening. The person can do the calibration on the system in a standardized way on
mm.
his, whenever he is comfortable. Now, this whole exercise brings the speed into the picture, right? And then you have, the conventional way where the availability in itself is a challenge, right? So
Mm, mm.
in short, automation transforms the calibration process by making it faster. It makes it more accurate, and then it is scalable. And then, time is money. It frees up the time for managers to focus on other strategical decisions
True,
rather
true.
than getting bogged down in doing the manual review. So this automation in calibration, I would say, is a big win when it comes to an operations management.
Right. You have just mentioned this audit the auditor. So how this automating this audit the auditor or ATA process improve transparency and accuracy in audit, Saurabh?
Sure, Nidhi. This is a wonderful question. Now, automating calibration process plays a huge role in maintaining consistency and reliability across the operational activities.
Hmm.
Uh, Let me explain this. Why? When you are relying on a manual process, right? Different managers or teams might interpret performance data in a slightly different way.
Yes, yes, yes.
Even with the best intentions, this
Hmm.
can lead to an inconsistent results. Yeah? It
Hmm.
happens. Our managers might grade more strictly, while others might be more lenient.
Lenient, yeah.
And this creates variation in how employees are evaluated across organizations. एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे मेरा एक टीम मेंबर है,
Hmm.
हम दोनों साथ वी हैव अ जॉइंट टुगेदर. तो
Hmm.
मेरा जो एटीट्यूड उसकी तरफ होगा वर्सेस अ
एक
पर्सन
अन्य
विद
की तरफ.
डोंट हैंग आउट
Right, right.
डिफरेंट होगा
So it's a
बाय
basic
डिफॉल्ट.
human nature. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now with this automation, these consistencies are eliminated. The
Hmm.
system uses standard criteria which nobody can tamper with. Right.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
So,
that fairness, consistence all comes into the picture, and you get a very, very calibrated
yeah.
output,
Hmm.
which brings more and more fairness in the system, transparency in the system, and hence this automation piece becomes very, very effective.
So, Saurabh, it seems like this automation really ensure that nothing falls through the cracks, right?
Right, 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 right. That, and that is the whole intent by
Yeah.
bringing digitization, automation, because all these understand these all these three processes now,
Hmm.
while they are very powerful in itself, but the people who
Hmm.
are exercising them, they need to be totally unbiased. Unless and
Yeah.
until they are not unbiased,
Yes.
this
Yes.
the out again will vary, and hence the digitization, automation,
Hmm.
creating the policies, procedures, setting the criteria in the system which nobody can tamper
Hmm.
becomes very, very, very important.
Yes. True. True. And this RNN process, so this digitization of RNN process benefits employee engagement and motivation within the organization. How can we say this?
So again, the same concept apply, Nidhi. Understand that, in a
When the
day-to-day operation,
transparency is there, yeah, yeah. Huh.
in a day-to-day operation,
Hmm.
a QA or the person who has a strict stringent targets,
Hmm.
and then they have to ensure the quality is also met. They are more or less engaged either in doing the audits or
Hmm.
in giving the feedbacks, right? So, or checking the performances whether the people are improving or not.
Hmm.
But if you analyze it very, very closely, you
Hmm.
will understand all what the QA is doing. They are doing it for the upliftment, trying to uplift the performance of others, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And in this whole game, the focus shifts. It is, they don't even think that whether whatever I am doing, am I doing it in the right way or not, right?
Hmm.
So that is
Hmm.
a big gap which automatically gets created within the system. Now this repeatability and reproducibility
Hmm.
tells the person that, okay, please take a break.
Hmm.
Look where you are standing. Are you doing the audit in the way you should, or is your style of doing the audit, is your style of evaluating is
Hmm.
same what it was 1 month back, what it was 15 days back, or what it was 10 days back?
After
Why?
months, yeah.
Because we think that it is only the uh, policies, the SOPs. Once they are set into the system, everybody will play into they will abide to it and will get the same result. But there are other factors which are outside our control. What if a person has just returned from an illness? What if there is some very, very unfavorable thing
Yeah.
happened in his personal life?
That
All
is yeah. So that is my next question, Saurabh. So this much level of transparency and the instant feedback could change the way employees perceive their roles within the organization.
Yes, it does. It does. Because at the end of the day, na, Nidhi, what we need to understand that
Hmm.
it is the motivation coming from multiple factors which
Hmm.
transforms into an output, right? Now,
Hmm.
if the people are not motivated, right, they are doing the task, and they are, it is becoming a more or less a monotonous work, right? Then the output will not be same as it was earlier. Example, right? Let's say there is a new join in your team, and so you can measure the level of excitement, the level of energy he will
Yeah.
have when he is performing the same task. Now you give the same task to a person who is a tenured guy, let's say 5 or 10 years old in the system. His
Yes.
energy level and his motivation
Newcomer
level will be
energy level. Yes. Different.
why?
Yes.
Because that tenured guy has seen everything. His lens is altogether different, right?
Hmm.
Whereas
Yes.
the person who has just come in, he hasn't seen anything. He wants to try everything. So
Yes.
that is why this becomes very, very important, that there are certain tools in the
Hmm.
system who constantly keeps a check, right?
Hmm.
Whole day or 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, month, year passes, and I am giving feedbacks to my team. I see their scores are improving, or I see they are, moving in a direction. In the whole exercise, I am trying to correct others. Whereas this calibration, ATAs, and this repeatability or reproducibility gives a chance where you can be checked, right? Through different modes and mechanisms. Now,
Hmm.
and now let's take a same example. I'm a tenured guy uh, doing evaluations, and I've spent a decent time in the same role, let's say 1 year, and then there is a new guy. Now, for a new guy making mistakes, it's but obvious it
Natural.
will happen and he will accept it. Yes, I'm new. But what if a tenured guy is told that look, boss, the variation when I'm doing audit, you are giving 70, and when I'm re-auditing your case, I am giving 50 or I am giving 90, right?
Hmm.
Or when a tenured guy get to know that okay, that my variation across all QAs is maximum, right? He will get triggered, right? That
Ah,
okay, how
right.
and why it will happen to me? It should not. I am the most tenured guy. So this all, while it is a trigger, but it is a motivation in a positive manner. And
Yes.
this keeps the person going that okay, next time this should not happen. I need to bring down the variance. I need to ensure that I'm because I'm the tenured guy, I'm very much calibrated and I am the SME, subject matter expert. I cannot
Yes.
do that. All these tools helps you in checking the motivation levels directly, indirectly, and keeps the team on the same page.
Yeah. Very, very well explained, Saurabh, with different examples and everything. Super thanks for this. Now, what are some best practices for integrating automation and digitization into these processes in a way that support both operations and partner management?
Surely. So this is again a very good question because around the industry, we
Hmm.
see that organizations are running in bringing the automations and digitizations.
Hmm.
But first and foremost, what is most important, when it comes to uh, implementing this stuff, it's to
Hmm.
have a clear strategy. The
Hmm.
person, the manager should know that what is the end objective he is trying to achieve, right? He should clearly lay down the path, the steps involved in all these three exercises, right? And with each step, he should have a visibility in terms of what output he is expecting unless and until the framework of these three powerful tools doesn't
Hmm.
exist, right? Or you have a hazy picture in your mind, then this, even in spite you do an automation or in spite you do a digitization, the output will not be as effective as the person is imagining. Right? So, for an example, I want to set up a calibration, right? And in a hurry, I set up everything, but I don't have an end objective. I don't know that what is the current level of my team, right? Where do I need to go? I don't know that what are the basic gaps that exist within my team, right? Will I be able to set up the system in a more effective and efficient manner? The answer is no. And
Hmm.
hence, before you start, a small example, when you are playing any sport, right? You have an end objective in your mind, right? Similarly, here also you need to have an end objective. Unless and until that is not there, the strategy is not. This
Yeah.
whole exercise will become a wasteful exercise. That is one. Point number two, when it comes to this three piece, right? This calibration, ATAs, and this repeatability.
Hmm.
Seldomly we have, very very oftenly we have seen that the quality stakeholders, they do not take the point of view of other functions, right? Because at the end of the day, the person should understand that why this exercise is getting carried out. This
Hmm.
exercise is getting carried out to ensure that end customer is treated fairly. They
Hmm.
are in a standardized response. Now there are multiple functions which gets impacted. It could be a call volumes at call center. It could be a marketing exercise which has happened, and the output they want to measure the output. There is a
Right.
new sales program which has happened, and
Hmm.
the sales manager wants to measure the sales output, that what are the queries they are getting at call center, what kind of impression or the understanding customers have of their campaigns. So it is very important that the involvement of all stakeholders is taken into the consideration, and it should be looked into a 360-degree program rather than just ensuring that the QAs are calibrated. And that's why the first point, that strategy has to be clear. You should know what to do. You should know whom should you involve. So these are the two very important factors, which people should ensure when they are trying to do this kind of automations and digitizations. And then lastly, the training and support. This is an ongoing exercise. It
Hmm.
never
Right.
stops. So these are from my point of view, I think these are the important.
Uh, that's fascinating, Saurabh. So, would you say that automation not only save time but also build trust in the system through the consistency?
Yes, yes. This is again, you can say, an indirect output of automation and digitization, right? Because understand that what we have spoken in last 15-20 minutes, we are saying that by doing this, you bring more fairness in the system, transparency is there, consistency is there,
Mm-hmm.
the um the managers are able to withdraw or take off all the biasness, right? And
Mm.
then there is a
Right, right, right.
intelligent reporting which you can draw out from this digitization and this automation. So my answer to this is yes, it definitely brings the trust, because
Save
and
time.
when you are setting this up, there are multiple stakeholders are involved in this. So they
Mm.
know in and out of it. They know that it is not a person who is driving it. All these are systematic things. They are digital, and hence the chances to play with it is very,
Mm.
very less. It is the manual interventions are completely eradicated. And hence, and yes, it does bring trust and lot of confidence in the system, because you know that now, yes, that these are the very concrete points I need to work on when it comes to any process improvement.
Mm. Looking ahead, how do you see the future of automation and digitization in operations management evolving? And what new trends should we be watching?
Nidhi, the answer is, very, very simple, and it's everybody knows it, right?
Mm.
The future is really very exciting, especially when you have AI and machine learning coming into the picture, right?
Mm. Mm.
Now we have spoken that you do a calibration, you
Mm.
do ATA, you do
And
automation and digitization.
mm.
Imagine a situation where the system is telling you automatically that there are 50,000 audits happened in your system.
Mm.
And I see that out of this 50,000, X number, or let's say 500 records are such records
Mm.
which are eligible for calibration,
Mm.
which are eligible for ATAs, right? Or the system is automatically telling the QM that, look, boss, you have done 1,000 audits.
Mm.
Out of this, I see that there are some 20, 30 audits. You should do a repeatability test.
Mm.
You should do a reproducibility test. How exciting this will become, right? And then the whole new game will start, where the trend will now shift that okay, I have to reduce this prediction, that if in 50,000 I'm getting this 500 cases, can I bring it down to 200? Can I bring it down to 100? So the future is really, really very exciting. And this AI and machine learning can definitely take it to the next level.
Sort of, are there any specific industries that you think will benefit the most from these advancements?
Yes, it is, this entire stuff is applicable to any industry you talk about, because at the end of the day there are quality checks everywhere, be it a automobile industry, be it an arts industry, be it a fintech, be it a edtech, everywhere it is applicable, because at the end of the day it's a human who is involved everywhere, and they are bound to make mistakes. They have their own biasnesses, and hence this automation and digitization definitely can bring them to the same page. They can calibrate. They can give more and more sharper outputs, resulting into better customer satisfaction.
Had a super and exciting time with you, Saurabh. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights. Now, I believe this automation and digitizations are clearly transforming how we approach operations processes. And I'm sure that our listeners have gained a lot from today's discussion. We will see you in the next coming up episodes. Thank you for your
My,
time.
thank you so much for taking out time and giving me an opportunity. It was very nice talking to you.
Same here. Bye bye.